I've wanted to put this video up about the coolant in the Suzuki Boulevard C50. 4 years ago, I went to the Evans coolant. I had seen that Jay Leno's garage had it. He had a representative of the company there. And I was on the fence about it, and I've wanted to try this, and now I'm working on my bike, so I drained this out. Now they tell you you can put this in and leave it forever. Jay Leno's garage, they were talking about how it's harmless, this and that. Well, it isn't. If you read it, it has the same thing, glycol-based coolant, just the same as regular antifreeze. So this stuff is toxic. I don't know why they say that on there, but I've had it in 4 years, and I've noticed that the fan does come on less. And it says Evan Power Sports coolant resists vaporizing and is in liquid contact with metal surface at all times. Metal temperatures are controlled in a safe low pressure system, meaning they say that if you run this instead of regular antifreeze, you could take that cap and take it off when it's hot and it'll just pop like a soda can. Well, on the Suzuki Boulevard, that lid's under your tank, so you can't get to it to try it. I've never tried it. I'd like to and seen if it would. But I thought 4 years, I'm going to drain it out and see what's going on with it. And they say you can put this in forever. The guy on there said if you'd put this stuff, they make it for cars, trucks, everything, that you could put it in a vehicle, and if you was going to sell the vehicle, take it back out, keep it, put regular antifreeze in the vehicle, sell it, and then put this in your new vehicle. That's how good this stuff is. So after 4 years of having it in there, I opened the side down there and looked at my expansion bottle. In my expansion bottle, I drained it out, and here's what I got. That is black. And when I got this, I think it was just about clear, because I had a little container of it and I put a little water in and shook it up just to see. You're supposed to have all your water out of your system when you use this. They even make a flush. A flush you can put through your system, drain it out, then put this in to make sure you have all the water out. But I had opened so many areas and blew air through it and got it dried out and left it set overnight, dried it again. So I know I didn't have any water in it. And that's the way this works. They say all the water has to be out. So when I drained this out of the expansion bottle, you can see it's black. But like I said, this was clear. I put water in it, mixed it up. I wanted to see if they mix. They do. You couldn't tell it was in there. Let it set for a while. You couldn't tell. When I seen this, I'm like, I've never seen coolant turn black. And I wondered, that gets the temperature on this will go up to 375 degrees. So that's why it doesn't really get to the high boiling point, have a lot of pressure. I just don't know about it. And I looked at it, and it smells like an antifreeze. It doesn't smell burnt. I thought maybe it was like burnt, but it doesn't have a burn smell. But it's that's unusual. I've never seen that with regular antifreeze. So I thought, well, I'll drain it out of the bike. Now, by the book, it tells you to drain it from the bottom of the radiator. Well, that's hard to get in there. If you move back and you take your side casing off, you can see the water pump there. There's 4 bolts in it. Now, I left it on when I first drained it, and you take the hose off of there, and it's the same as the bottom of the radiator. It's easier to get to, a lot easier. You pull it off, let it drain, push the hose downward to let all the water run out of it, or the antifreeze. Then I actually took the water pump off and turned it over. It drained a little bit out. I'd turn it back, turn it over. Each time I'd get a little bit out. And I maybe got a little wee bit out of it. I mean, not enough that you have to do that. But I wanted to get all this out to make sure. I filled the radiator a couple times, run water through it. It come out nice and clear. I had a pan under there. I didn't have it outside where I wanted it, and I didn't want to run that on the ground. So I just put it in a pan. But all the antifreeze I got out of there, and this isn't watered down. is this. And that is black, just like what was in the expansion bottle. Now they was telling on Jay Leno's Garage, you don't need an expansion bottle because that doesn't boil, it don't go out in there. Well, I had put a little bit of that in my, like you would with your regular antifreeze, in the expansion bottle. I put it in there so as if it does expand and go back, it sucks it back, it don't suck air in. That's a closed system. So I don't know, it's just the way this is black, it's throwing me off. But it has gone from the motor into this and back and forth to get this black. So you do need an expansion bottle. I don't know why in the world they're acting like you don't need that. And I think even in there they said about an animal can get down and lick that and it won't hurt them. Yes, it will. I don't understand why they're saying that. It just doesn't make sense. So I flushed my system all out again. I got the water out of it. In fact, I closed, then I put in, I had it dried out good. I went to this, the Prestone. Any color, any models, any make, it's already mixed 50-50. I put that in there, and then I went and I drove a while with it, the bike. And I rode and rode, brought it back, took the tank off, because they say about running the bike after you fill it in the book to put any in. Run it up to temperature, leave the lid off so the air comes out, then top it off, and you know, once it gets cool, top it off, put your cap on. Put it right down to the bottom of the tank in there, in the radiator. Well, this tank, to do that and leave the top off, you're going to have to lift the tank off, take the lid off, you know, I mean, or hook the tank up, because I tried with a container with a line on it to put it right on my line and run the bike, and it won't start like that. So it's not getting the pressure fuel in the way the system, the injector works and everything. It's not like the old Harleys that, you know, you could get an external tank, hook up, you know, while the gas tank's off. You can't do that with this. So I thought the best way is put the tank back on, run it, wait till it gets cold the next, you know, and then the next day I took the tank back off, opened that, topped it off, closed it back up, set to go. So for me, I am not using Evans coolant. I mean, it did seem to keep the fan from running so much, but this here, I don't know if anybody else has it and wants to check theirs, but man, that turned black. And they say you put this in once, you never have to do it. Well, I don't know. I just don't know about it. I'm really on the fence about it. So I went back to this. This is cheaper. It's easier to get. This you got to order off eBay. When I bought this, I wanted it right away. I went to the bike shop, one bike shop. I called around. I had to go way off to a bike shop that had it. I think other ones have it now. They're starting to get it. I know I paid almost, I think around $44, $45. I think you can get it cheaper on eBay now with free shipping. And you only need a half a gallon to fill this, but be careful spilling it or anything, because you need just about a whole half gallon to fill this up. And if I would to put it in, or like I said, you want to close it up, run it, take the gas tank back off and check it. And that gas tank to take off, definitely empty at first, because it moves around. You got to be so careful with it. You don't want to bang up your tank.